ito po ang isa sa mga agam-agam namin na mabigyan talaga ng ganyang provocation yung West Philippine Sea. Sabi ko nga, as a matter of principle, ang talagang gusto namin sa Makabayan Block ay i-demilitarize ng area.
Please understand that from the very title of the agency, it's the Philippine Coast Guard. They guard our coast. They guard our seas. So I think that would explain why they are primarily responsible for these concerns.
Yes, ang panawagan po namin dyan ay to demilitarize the West Philippine Sea. Kaya hindi po kami nag-agree dito. Ginagawa nating parte ng Armadong Sandatahang Puwersa ng Pilipinas ang Coast Guard. Hindi po namin yon pwedeng payagan.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we recognize the Honorable Arlene D. Brosas of the Gabriela Party List for her interpellation.
The Honorable Arlene Brosas is recognized to interpellate the sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Will the good sponsor yield to some questions po on some sections of the proposed bill of the revised Philippine Coast Guard law, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, to my esteemed colleague, Congresswoman Arlene.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Siguro yung first question, Mr. Speaker, it's about the Philippine Coast Guard. Lagi po siyang nasa limelight ngayon in recent months because of the growing tensions in the West Philippine Sea. Given that the Republic Act number 9993 or the Philippine Coast Guard Law was enacted in 2009, may nag-iba po ba or nadagdag sa functions ng PCG para maging ready sila in their very own capacity to protect the Philippine territory? Ano pong mga provisions yon doon sa proposed bill?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, the most important provisions that were not present in RA 9993 are the following. In the current bill, we are proposing the institutionalizing of the three core functions. These are putting three Coast Guards with three different functions: maritime safety, maritime security, and maritime environment in every coastline that we have. This is not in the old law. In the old law, there's also that discrepancy where our Coast Guard is considered one rank lower compared to the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the PNP, when in fact, work-wise, and especially now, in the light of what's happening in the West Philippine Sea, we can see that the Coast Guard really is always there and has to be fully ready to defend our country. There are yet other minor provisions here that are there, but those are the two most important provisions that I think should improve our Philippine Coast Guard this time, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, dito sa sinasabi ninyo na mga functions, sa powers and functions, inad yun, yung mga binabanggit ninyo.
Opo, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, kung matatandaan niyo po noon or 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, ang pagkakilala po natin sa Coast Guard, taga-clear lang ng barko. Taga-bilang ng mga pasahero at sinicheck kung overloaded ang mga pasahero. Ngayon po, meron na rin trabaho ang Coast Guard to ensure maritime safety and then to ensure maritime security and more importantly, to ensure maritime environmental protection. Napakarami na po nating mga nangyayari, lalo na yung nangyaring paglubog ng isang barko sa may Mindoro, at ito recently po dito sa...
The oil spill?
Yeah, the oil spill. Nakita po natin yung responsibility ng Coast Guard na sila ang talagang nanguna doon. That was not during that time yet fully implemented, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, kapag sinabing maritime, tama ba, maritime security, maritime safety. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun?
Well, maritime safety is like ensuring the compliance of our vessels in accordance with the, how do you call that, with the documents that are given to them. And of course, for maritime security, to ensure exactly the shorelines. You know, the Coast Guards are the most efficient now as far as coastlines are concerned. Like for example, in my province of Romblon, which is an archipelagic province, there are a lot of times that we get information na mga lost at sea. Ang Coast Guard po ang nangunguna sa pagpunta sa kanila para sila po ay ma-retrieve, no? The latest that you have probably heard is that 20 passenger boat that came from Boracay going towards an island in then nalubog po yon. Well, fortunately 10 survived, 3 were found dead in my province, and 7 cannot be seen already. Well, presumably eaten by the sea. Yun ang mga trabaho ng Coast Guard.
So yun po yung safety na binabanggit
Safety.
dito.
At saka,
Sa
safety and
security po,
Sa security po, ma'am, sa mga, you will see that even in, how do you call that, in our vessels, we have, tawag nga to, we have already security, Coast Guards are there to man, especially during the travel. And then, of course, we are also, for the safety, we ensure that all the vessels are compliant with the IMO, SOLAS, and STCW regulations.
yes, Mr. Speaker, ang tinatanong ko po particular, sa security, ano yung nadagdag sa before? Will they be armed? Yung ating PCG ngayon. Yun ba ang
Yes.
binibigay nating power sa kanila?
Yes, right now, ma'am, right now, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, our Philippine Coast Guard are now much better equipped already, especially after the, how do you call that, after the enactment of RA 993. But yet, this Coast Guard law that we are proposing gives them more power to augment what they currently have, no? Because of the lack of funding availability for them.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, ibig sabihin po ba nito, kasi yung under Section 51 and 52, tama ba na may firearms, armaments, and ammunition na available at pwede maging available sa PCG? So, does this mean that outside of police and military assistance, PCG officers can use these firearms? Mr. Speaker, yun po ang tanong ko.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, yes, Madam, my esteemed colleague, that's correct. They can use firearms.
So, ibig sabihin, pwede na nilang gamitin yon. So, kapag
Yes.
nagkaroon ng tension sa West Philippine Sea, pwedeng magkaroon ng barilan, Mr. Speaker. Yun yung ano ko eh.
Siguro depende, ma'am, sa
Diba?
situation.
How
But,
will that-
we're very proud that in spite of the tensions in the Philippine Sea, and in spite of the provocation of the Chinese, we noted that our Philippine Coast Guard are very, very prudent in addressing the tension.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pero kasi, di ba, the military, sabi nila, ganun sila. The police, they said they're also like that. Responsible sila, nagkicarry ng firearms, etc. But then, accidents happen at magkakaroon ng ganitong mga issues. Di ba, it's better to demilitarize yung area kesa yung magkaroon ng ganong mga issues, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor. So, yun naman yung tanong namin, Mr. Speaker, kasi pag sinasabi mong i-highlight natin yung security, tas bigyan natin sila ng armas, di mas lalong tataas ang tensyon doon sa West Philippine Sea, Mr. Speaker. Kasi how will that parang maging kaiba sila sa ginagawa ng Philippine Navy ng Philippine military natin, 'di ba, ng AFP at ng iba pa na merong armas. So ibig sabihin ang gusto natin gawin, armasan ang mga Philippine Coast Guard natin. So
Yes, yeah, I see your point, Madam Speaker. How do you call that? Yes, Madam dear Congressman, that, how do you call that? The Coast Guard, please understand, under RA 9993 is what we call the armed, how do you call that? The armed side. No, like the PNP, we have armed and non-armed. And also here, we have the armed and also the non-armed. Ano? So, I think they were, in fact, with all due respect, we could not assume that just because probably they have arms, that they will be like provocative already. Because from what I understand and up to what's happening now, we had been provoked several times. Binabangga po yung ating mga tawag nga nito, yung ating mga barko. Yung ating mga barko po naman, may mga kanyon at may mga arms, pero hindi po, our people, our Coast Guard, are very prudent in not engaging them confrontally.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I understand, these are maritime disputes. And maritime disputes po, halimbawa yung paggamit ng laser, paggamit ng iba pang hindi naman sila gumagamit ng armas, 'di ba? So, totoo po 'yun. Meron tayong obligation na pangalagaan yung ating particularly yung ating 12 nautical miles kasi that is what we have in law. Kailangan nating pangalagaan yung ating teritoryo. But kung maritime disputes po ito, kung aarmasan natin sila at magkakaroon ng, parang sinasabi nyo na po yun, na magkakaroon ng digmaan doon sa sea. So, Mr. Speaker, I do not understand kung bakit ganito yung thinking nung ating PCG sa ngayon. Kasi hindi rin naman ganito yung ibang mga bansa, 'di ba? Hindi rin naman sila armado in terms of Coast Guard, 'di ba? So Mr. Speaker, ito po ang isa sa mga agam-agam namin na mabigyan talaga ng ganyang provocation yung West Philippine Sea. Sabi ko nga, as a matter of principle, ang talagang gusto namin sa Makabayan Block ay demilitarize ang area. Lahat ng bansa na pumapasok doon, demilitarize. Naintindihan po natin yung right to innocent passage, di ba? Pero itong mga ito, halimbawa, kung meron silang, kung nag-i-impede sila sa atin, sa mga mangingisda natin, kasi may mga issue yung mga mangingisda natin finifishing ban sila, kung ano-anong ginagawa sa kanila, pinahirapan nga sila, kinukuha yung kanilang mga Pero yung armasan mo yung PCG, para protektahan yung mga mangingisda doon sa issue nila, hindi rin naman po yun, we do not agree. We do not agree with that. Parang yung ganong maritime dispute, pwede po yun, ireklamo natin, magkaroon ng, total, we won the UNCLOS, At dapat yun ipatupad. At dapat alam natin pare-pareho na sa international law of the sea, dapat igalang yung mga mangingisda sa iba't ibang lugar para makapasok. Hindi rin naman yon para ariin natin ng parang hindi na natin papasukin ang ibang mga mangingisda mula sa iba ding mga bansa. Kundi pare-pareho tayong makinabang sa kung ano ang meron tayo sa dagat. So, yun po yung namin. And if there are halimbawa, sa usapin po ng mga structures doon sa islands na ginagawa ng mga Chinese, we should compel them na tanggalin yung mga yon. Pero hindi yung barilin sila. Alam niyo po yun, hindi yung maggera tayo doon sa kundi tanggalin yung mga structures, ipanawagan natin na igalang nila yung ating yung ating claim doon at yung dispute natin, kung kinakailangan na pag-usapan yon in a diplomatic way, pag-usapan yon. hindi para magkaroon ng digmaan doon sa dagat, Mr. Speaker. So yun ano,
Yes,
yung Mr. Speaker. First, meron naman tayong AFP, meron tayong Navy, meron tayong Philippine military na ginagawa yung trabaho nila, but the PCG na siyang nangangalaga dun sa it would really escalate the tensions kapag kanilagyan mo ng armas yung mismong PCG natin. Kasi 'di ba, kung halimbawa kung naputulan ng daliri, gaganti talaga 'yun. 'Di ba? Baka magkaputukan talaga. So ganun yung ganun po yung inaalala natin dito sa issue ng pag-aarmas ng ating Philippine Coast Guard, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague, yes, I fully sympathize with your position. In fact, we have to admit that we don't want a situation like that. But as regards the PCG in their implementation of their maritime security, yes, we have to confirm that they are being armed, mostly probably as as a self-defense or to protect also the other passengers. Kasi minsan po sa mga barko, kunyari may terorista, hindi natin po alam, isipin na lang po natin kung yung ating PCG doon ay kamay na lang ang kanyang panglaban at wala man lang siya pangontra. No? So probably it will all devolve into how our PCG is being, being trained. And it is my understanding that PCG really is very stringent as regards discipline. And it is also my understanding that if ever this force, if used, will be the last option because we want peace, and like everybody else. So for that purpose, I would want to also inform that for purposes of maritime security, we are not only concentrating on the West Philippine Sea, my dear colleague. We also are looking into the smugglers, the drug trafficking that are encountered, and all this, the things that are happening in the sea. So, napakalawak po talaga dito. And I have to admit, right now, even if we fully arm our PCG, we are so small compared to China at this time. So, sa takot na lang po natin, hindi talaga tayo lalaban. I'm sure for that. And that's the reason why up to now, in spite of their bullying in the Philippine Sea, we are still holding on our, yung timpi natin, nagtitimpi pa rin tayo. And I think that's the best attitude that we should do. But rest assured, of course, that if ever the PCG is being given the authority to use firearms, they are not to fight war, but to protect our people in other places like the boats, against the smugglers, and this drug, yung mga nagdadalaw ng drugs, etc., etc.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, but I think problema po ng sandatahang puwersa ng Pilipinas, yung usapin ng gano'n, yung terrorism, yung sinasabi ninyo, yung mga binabanggit ninyo. Tapos nandyan din yung immigration, nandyan din yung NSC, National Security Council. Actually, yun po yung mga may trabaho noon, may specific functions noon. So, we do not understand bakit natin aarmasan yung ating PCG. Kasabay nung meron naman tayong mga ganitong mga ahensya, which really should be, yun yung trabaho nila, no? Yun
Yes,
po yung natin, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, please understand that from the very title of the agency, it's the Philippine Coast Guard. They guard our coast. They guard our seas. So I think that would explain why they are primarily responsible for these concerns.
Yes, nagkakaunawaan po tayo doon. Pero yun nga, yung armasan mo ng baril yung ating Actually, yun po talaga yung agam-agam namin dyan. It would really escalate the tensions kapag ganyan yung Kasi imposible po na hindi gamitin kapag nagkaroon ng mga problema within the sea, no? Kaya yan po yung isa sa mga hindi namin gusto.
Madam,
gusto kong
yeah,
pumunta.
Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, probably the best proof that what we are thinking will not happen is actually what already happened. Ilang beses na po tayong binubuli ng China pero hindi naman natin po ginagamit yung mga baril natin na makipaglaban sa kanila. And let's give it to the discipline that is being instilled by the Philippine Coast Guard to our heroes that are protecting our West Philippine Sea.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, kasi in the first place, wala talaga silang baril ngayon. Kaya hindi talaga nila yung magagamit, Mr. Speaker. So parang,
And yes, Madam, Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, also for information, all other Coast Guards in Asia, Europe, and even in the US are also armed.
US talaga, Mr. Speaker, meron. Dito nga sa bansa natin, sila nagdadala ng mga ng mga gamit na pangdigma, Mr. Speaker, because they would want that, Mr. Speaker. Gusto ko lang sabihin, if there is anyone na imperialist dito sa ating lugar, sa buong ibang mga bansa, ang may capacity po talaga ay US. Sila ang mas maraming submarine, sila ang maraming mga Tomahawk missiles, sila ang merong exercises sa iba't ibang bansa on issues of territory. So, Mr. Speaker, ayaw lang natin na etong mga ito ay gamitin lalo ng ibang mga bansa katulad ng US para mag-provoke palalo ng tensions doon sa West Philippine Sea at magkaroon ng gera dahil tayo din po na mga Pilipino ang siyang haharap dito at hindi po gusto ng mga Pilipino na ang gera, 'di ba? Kasi kawawa naman tayo, maiipit tayo in between the issue of China and US. Gagawin pa tayong lunsaran, Mr. Speaker, ginoong sponsor. So we do not want that. At yung sa provocation na sinasabi natin, ang armasan mo, ang isang definitely kapag ka nagka-problema doon, lalaban yun at magkakaroon talaga ng ganong But of course, kung magkaroon ng pagkamatay or whatever doon sa hindi naman ibig sabihin nun, hindi rin natin ilalaban yung ating ating karapatan. Of course, gusto rin natin yon. Ang sinasabi ko lang, itong maritime dispute, it can be resolved through diplomatic channels, diplomatic na pakikipag-usap, pagsasabi ng kung ano ang pwede at hindi pwede among ASEAN nations nang hindi pinapakialaman ng mga malalaking imperialista, 'di ba, Mr. Speaker? Kasi meron talaga silang taya dyan. They would want to influence yung iba pang mga bansa bukod sa atin. At ayaw natin yun, 'di ba? Kasi sabi nga natin, independent foreign policy ang meron tayo and then we should be independent talaga. Hindi yung nakatingin ka rin sa US for support at the same time, nakatingin ka sa sa China na kalaban mo ito na sobra-sobra. Tingnan natin at ibalanse natin ang mga nangyayari at nagaganap sa ating bansa. Hindi through the provocation of the Western influence or the US. Yun lang yun, Mr. Speaker. Kaya parang kami, sa part namin, hindi talaga okay na armasan mo to, tapos it will really escalate the tensions in the West Philippine Sea. Baka mapasubo tayo nang hindi natin gusto. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, ang second ko pong issue ay yung sunod-sunod naman na oil spill. 'Di ba? Kasi ito po, naranasan ko naman sa committee hearing kung paano sumagot ang PCG kaugnay sa oil spill. Pero Mr. Speaker, napaka sunod-sunod na nito Dito ba sa bagong batas, amyenda sa batas ng PCG, how can you really protect ang ating environment? Kasi sabi niyo, isa sa environmental protection So, ano po yung mga specific provision dito, yung sinasabi ninyo na mapoprotektahan natin against oil spill yung ating yamang dagat, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, yeah, Madam Colleague. Probably you note that in my sponsorship speech, I emphasize on the giving of the importance or strengthening of the three core functions of the Coast Guard, which was not in the old law. That's maritime safety, maritime security, and maritime environmental protection. And then to this, it is my understanding that the Philippine Coast Guard is specializing the training of their Philippine Coast Guard personnel to be really very adept in the implementation of maritime safety laws, very adept in the implementation of the maritime security laws, and more especially the maritime environmental protection. This all, of course, will start probably from when we need to clear the vessels, especially, karamihan ko na pupunan natin, may mga vessels tayo po na lumalabas na hindi nga na-clear pero nakaalis because they are coming probably from, how do you call this, a port that is not manned by the Coast Guard because of lack of personnel. And all of these vessels that, well, unfortunately, upon investigation, we discovered that they don't even have the updated certificates of compliance with all the inspections, safety inspections. No? Kaya, siguro, ito po ang isa talagang makakatulong ho sa atin na paigtingin natin ang kakayanan ng ating Philippine Coast Guard para ma-implementa ng maigi ang maritime safety, maritime security, at maritime environmental protection laws. So sa maritime environmental protection laws, probably they could do more emphasis in ensuring na gaya po nung lumubog na as much as possible, wala na po naglalabas agad, di ba? Yung mga double hull, I don't know. Napakarami po niyan, although my understanding with all due respect is that's the marina side, yung regulation. The Coast Guard is just ensuring that they are compliant with the marina regulations.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. No? Ang tanong ko po yung mga amendments that will address stronger action and participation of the Philippine Coast Guard to really address the oil spill cases. Kasi ang sinabi niyo po kanina, correct me if I'm wrong, training. So parang training lang siya, pero ano specific yung gagawin, parang ganyan, Mr. Speaker, ng PCG, kaugnay dito. Kasi Mr. Speaker, nakakabahala yun kasi nung tinanong ko rin yan sa committee, naalala ko, nakakalayag talaga yung, 'di ba? Yung mga ng hindi walang proper documentation, tapos yung mga cases ng paihi, 'di ba? May mga ganun yung smuggling, oil smuggling doon sa natin, sa territory natin. Tapos maraming mga cases na kailangang i-resolve dito. So, more than armasan, ito ngang mga issues na ito hindi maasikaso, Mr. Speaker. Tapos, na-endanger pa yung Verde Island, ng Mindoro oil spill. Tapos, hanggang ngayon, inaasikaso pa rin natin na mabigyan ng kompensasyon. Kompensasyon man lang, Mr. Speaker, para sa mga mangingisda at nangangailangan ng livelihood sa mga tinamaan ng oil spill na ito, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, ito hindi natin maasikaso, 'di ba? So, parang how can we ensure?
Totoo yan, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague, precisely because of the lack of personnel of the Philippine Coast Guard. So, right now, based on their current personnel, they could just hardly cope with the one personnel per kilometer. Supposed to be doing the three core functions, which is very hard for one personnel to be doing it, no? Yung ikaw ang ensure ng maritime safety, ikaw pa ang impose ng maritime security, saka yung maritime environment. So in this law, we have there's a proposal, and I think it is in section 3, wherein there will be 3 commands created, especially to specialize on these 3 core functions. Now, for purposes of environmental, to address your concern about the environmental protection, may we inform that there is now a Maritime Environmental Protection Command. Yeah, that's the METCOM. They are trained to respond to, all of these problems of oil spill, etc., etc. Now, for purposes also of ensuring the capability and then the integrity of our vessels, the strengthening of pre-departure inspection, checking, inspection, etc., etc. So, compliance with the requirements. So, pag ito pong panukalang ito, itong amendment sa 9993 ay napasa po natin, mapapalakas po natin po yung 3 commands na yon. Talagang paigtingin natin sila and hopefully this will finally solve our biggest problem na pagka meron na ho tayo kasing Coast Guard na nagbabantay per kilometer of coastline, sigurado po walang na makakalusot niyan.
Mr. Speaker, sana po magawa yun, Mr. Speaker. But as of now, hanggang ngayon po, yung hinihingi kong report sa PCG, kaugnay doon sa investigation doon sa issue ng 3 vessels, no, na involved sa Cavite, Bataan, and Manila Bay, no? Yeah. Hindi pa po yun nakakarating sa akin hanggang ngayon, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Colleague, I just got the commitment of the PCG. They will submit it to you
Mr.
on or
Speaker,
before September 20.
It is very important to see kung sino po yung mga pumayag or nag-agree na manatili doon yung mga vessels na ito, tapos nagkaroon ng problema, tapos yung nag-agree din na maglayag yung mga vessel na dapat hindi nakapaglayag ng time na yon. So, Mr. Speaker, yun yung gusto ko lang sabihin ngayon, hindi po yan nagagawa. Kung personnel ang issue, hindi po siya sa personnel kasi meron namang investigating team talaga, dapat ang PCG. And they should report to us. Tapos, meron ding time dapat na allotted para it's mag-iilang buwan na po, 4 months. Hindi pa po 'yun hindi pa po 'yun nangyayari. So, Mr. Speaker, parang paano tayo magtiwala pagka ganun yung yung kalagayan? But anyway, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure si Admiral ay inaasikaso naman 'yan ngayon. At hindi naman natin tatantanan to ask talaga yung mga reports na kailangan natin at saka yung mga gusto nating makita kung sino talaga yung mga involved. Kasi we believe hindi lang dapat yung mga small vessels na yan yung tingnan natin, kundi tingnan din natin yung chain nung responsibility nung mga malalaki na nag-charter talaga. Kasi baka yun ang may capacity na magbayad ng mga danyos at mga, Mr. Speaker, doon sa kinakailangang kompensasyon ng mga mangingisda dito sa mga oil spill na ito, Mr. Speaker. Kasi ang sasabihin lang sa iyo ng mga maliliit na vessels, di namin kaya, ganito nga lang yung namin . Pero apparently, they were chartered by big companies, corporations, people who are in power. So yun yung gusto nating malaman. Alam niyo kasi, Mr. Speaker, kahit anong gawin natin, kung merong corruption, kung merong ganong mga klase ng hindi rin talaga yon magiging effective, Mr. Speaker. So, any training, dagdag ng personnel, if there is corruption within, hindi naman talaga yon magpo-prosper . So, Mr. Speaker, ganon, as specific as yung report po doon sa dinedemand naming report doon sa issue ng oil spill, Mr. Speaker. Sana maibigay sa amin yon, Mr. Speaker. So we will know na walang pinoprotektahan na ibang mga, diba, involved na tao doon, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, I apologize in behalf of Philippine Coast Guard, and they are committed, and I'll ensure that they give this to you on or before September 20.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Within this section then, Mr. Speaker, we would like to ask, sa ilalim ng, under Section 32, meron kayong system of attrition na gagawin. Kasi personnel to eh. Ano ang effect nito sa current roster of employees? Anong mangyayari dun sa current roster of employees ninyo? Paano ba yung attrition system, Mr. Speaker?
Madam, Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, ito yung mga overstaying na pagka hindi na talaga sila maiangat, yon i-attrite po sila.
Ay, mawawalan silang trabaho? Paano?
Well, tawag na to ng they're given time to upgrade their status, but if they're not able to keep that professionalism, they really have to undergo attrition.
Mga ilan ito, Mr. Speaker, na
More or less, Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, about 3%
3% ng
of the Coast Guard personnel, or total, which is now numbering about 26,000.
26,000?
26, no? 30,000.
30,000? So yun ang posible kung ano, or yung
No,
rank lang nila.
30,000, 3% of that.
3%.
Ang ma-attract.
30,000. Oh, pero malaki pa rin yun, Mr. Speaker. So anong balak na gawin doon sa mga...
So they may have to retire, or they may be absorbed by other uniformed
Paano
service.
pagbata pa, Mr. Speaker? Ano mangyayari kung mawalan trabaho? Ganun.
So, may pay and benefits din naman sila.
May benefits package.
Opo.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. What about yung sa ilalim ng Section 49? Sorry, Mr. Speaker, mahaba kasi yung ano eh. Section 49, merong PCG Modernization Trust Fund na itatatag. Parte ng pag-fund dito ay pag-appropriate, yung sinasabi niyo po kanina, 1 billion pesos annually for 5 years from available funds available in the National Treasury. Ngayon, ang gusto po naming itanong, saan-saan po gagamitin ang trust fund na ito, Mr. Speaker? Ginoong sponsor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Madam colleague, ito po ay gagamitin sa pag-procure ng mga assets ng tawag nga nito ng PCG. Sa totoo, itututok yan natin sa pagbibili ng mga barko ng gaya nito pong yung binabangga ng China, yung the 97-meter Teresa Magbanwa. And, yeah, but we have only 2 of that. But I have to admit, and as discussed extensively in the committee, marami po talaga ang concern na is drop in the bucket, and I agree with that. And in fact, during that committee meeting, when we approved the committee report, I even made the manifestation that at the appropriate time, subject to the agreement of in the plenary, we are willing to accept, how do you call that, amendment, to augment that 1 billion. Hindi ho talaga kaya ang 1 billion na makabili ng isang matino na malaking barko na pwede nating kahit papaano, pag binangga ng China, hindi lulubog.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, hindi lang din yon, worryable yon kasi baka pag bumili tayo ng barko, baka spiya din yun ng ibang bansa. So hindi natin naman din gusto yun. At may technology naman tayo at may kakayanan ng ating mga, I'm sure, ang mga Pilipino po ay magagaling at mahuhusay, kayang gumawa ng Ang problema lang talaga natin, yung industriya na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas sa kasalukuyan. But I believe so. Pero syempre, Mr. Speaker, iaangal ko din dyan yung 1B kasi baka kukunin pa yung armaments. Kumbaga, yung baril pa yung magiging pagkakagastusan nito, Mr. Speaker. Kayo na rin ang nagsabi kanina, maraming kailangang pagkagastusan katulad na lang nung gamit, 'di ba? Barko, gamit sa barko at yung lahat ng mga pangangailangan, I'm sure kailangan mga modern, kahit pa paano, modern na laser, di ba? Modern na na mga pangangailangan ng PCG. Yun po naiintindihan ko, pero kung gagamitin pa siya, pag-acquire pa ng baril, hindi na naman namin yun, parang ganon, Mr. Speaker. Kung yung 1 billion is for that, no, I cannot
yes.
agree with that.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Madam Colleague. In that committee hearing too, the Philippine Coast Guard was requested to submit their modernization plan. And for purposes of this discussion, I would want to mention that the focus are offshore patrol vessel, helicopter, maritime patrol aircraft, and fast patrol vessels. It's really on, wala pong mga baril na nakalagay po doon sa modernization plan. But of course, in their modernization plan, if I may, with the permission of my dear colleague, we're looking at a higher amount really. Nakikita natin na in the first year alone, first year, they are targeting hopefully 33 billion to address the purchase of just one 80 to 100 meter offshore patrol vessel. So talagang maliit po yung 1 billion.
33 billion na yun. So, Mr. Speaker, yung binabanggit niyo pong listahan, meron po kayong copy niyan for the modernization plan. Pwede pong makahingi ng copy niyan para makita namin.
Sige po.
But anyway, Mr. Speaker, to cognate pa rin doon sa tanong ko, Mr. Speaker, kung saan-saan gagamitin ang trust fund. So, meron na talagang particular doon sa modernization plan ng PCG.
Yes, I have a copy of the modernization plan,
Okay.
Madam Colleague. I can give you my copy now for your reference. And then the specifics of how, well, of course, in the modernization plan, there are no amounts, but that shows what they are planning to purchase. Meron na ho silang binigay sa akin on the side, which I can share po with you, that you may want to look into also, para makita nyo po na wala naman po dito talaga yung mga pangbaril. Ito lahat ay mga patrol ships.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yung question ko naman tungkol sa Section 50 on loans, grants, bequests, and donations. Pwedeng kumuha ng donations from foreign sources. Ganun ba? Considering that the PCG handle issues involving national territory and security, hindi ba ito magkakaroon ng conflict of interest, Mr. Speaker? Kasi foreign loans and di ba?
Pagkaalam ko, Mr. Speaker, Madam Colleague, po pwede po, in fact, in the news, I just read that Japan is offering us a donation for, to upgrade our fleet already. Mr. Speaker. Madam
That's one of our concern then, Mr. Speaker, kasi conflict of interest, di ba, Mr. Speaker? Kung yung bansa na yon, merong inaay sa'yo na makakaproblema tayo, Mr. Speaker. And we're standing on, ano bang sabi sa atin, dapat reliable tayo sa sarili natin, pero sa ganitong kaso, kapag kakumuha ka ng loan, merong mga collateral, merong mga agreements, merong mga ganon, So yun po yung worry natin dito sa section na ito ng Section 50. Dahil foreign, maaari ng ibang bansa ang pagkuhanan. So, for the safety, security ng mga Pilipino, di syempre, kailangan rin natin to.
Sa alang-alang.
Hindi natin pwedeng payagan ng basta-basta na lang, Mr. Speaker. Anyway,
Yes,
Mr. Speaker,
Julian Oten.
I will end my interpellation, Mr. Speaker. Gusto ko pa sanang magtanong. Pero Mr. Speaker, tatapusin ko na po ang pagtatanong ko. And gusto ko lang i-reiterate, Mr. Speaker, nababahala kami sa mga amyendang ito. Yung Modernization Trust Fund, almost the same framework with the AFP Modernization Program. Tapos, yung Section 52, posible na rin mag-acquire ng armas ang PCG, pwede na magkaroon ng loan agreement ang DOTR PCG with foreign financial institutions. Kung ganito po ang magiging kalakaran, titindi lalo ang maritime dispute sa West Philippine Sea. Ang panawagan po namin dyan ay to demilitarize the West Philippine Sea. Kaya hindi po kami nag-agree dito. Ginagawa nating parte ng Armadong Sandatahang Puwersa ng Pilipinas ang Coast Guard. Hindi po namin yon pwedeng payagan. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat to our good colleague. Thank you
Yes,
po.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, thank you too very much.
Thank you.